Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be walking through exactly how you can go ahead and sign your first 3 OnlyFans models in 2026. Now, lots is changing within the OnlyFans industry, which is why I'm making tons of content just updating you on the processes that are actually working today. So there's a few old processes that lots of people teach which no longer work. And it's important that you're keeping up to date with the shifts that are happening within the OnlyFans industry so you can keep up to date with using the best strategies so you can get the best results for yourself and for your agency. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to be walking you guys through in this video. And you're going to be able to sign these models without sending 200 plus DMs a day. This is the standard advice that I see so many people preaching, saying send DMs, send DMs, send DMs. Hey, you haven't signed a model? You need to send more DMs. But it's 2026. You need to be a little bit more intelligent than that. You need to be a little bit smarter. And that's exactly the purpose of this video, is to help you be a bit smarter about going ahead and signing these OnlyFans models and walking you through the exact playbook that we are currently using. So let's get into it. Now, most people trying to start an OFM agency, I think their main problem is effort. They think they need to send more DMs, more scripts, more follow-ups, and that's why they get ignored. In 2026, models don't respond to managers. They respond to trust, proof, and safety. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exactly how to sign your first 3 OnlyFans models without spamming DMs, begging creators, or racing other agencies to the bottom. This is the same framework we use inside real agencies. So you don't need to be putting in lots of hours. If you're sitting there thinking, you know, I'm putting in all this effort and I'm not getting results, that just means I need to be putting in more effort, or you're thinking that your laziness is an issue, then you're thinking about it wrong, because your time should have no bearing over the results if you actually want to be a business owner. If you're just looking to be a hustler, you're just looking to be a grinder, you're just looking to be self-employed, then yeah, absolutely. If you're not making as much money as you want to be making, then the thing for you to do is to hustle more and work more. But if you're actually a business owner, then it's not about grinding more, sending more DMs, doing more outreach, doing more volume. It's about being smarter in doing that. So here's the core problem that lots of people are experiencing today, and this very well may be applicable to you. And it's the truth that nobody tells beginners. You're not pitching models anymore. You're being evaluated. Every creator you reach out to has already been burned, especially if you're reaching out to creators who are consistently performing well, consistently doing over $20,000 a month. If you're going after these creators where as soon as you go ahead and sign the model, you're already making 10K plus per month, then you can guarantee that model has been burned in the past with either fake promises, bad contracts, managers with no symptoms, and agencies that disappear after onboarding. Because there are lots of agencies within this space who are coming through from YouTube videos like you're watching now, and they just have no clue on what they're doing. And they just think, oh, you know what? I'll sign an OnlyFans model. I'll go ahead and grow her. Boom, easy money. And then you realize that you actually need to build a business system and operation in order to go ahead and grow an OnlyFans account. It's not as simple as you thought. So exactly, this is why so many models have been burned, because lots of people coming into the space who don't really know what they're doing. The same happened to agencies back in 2020. There weren't that many agencies around, and then lots of new agencies started popping up and coming in, and there's lots of DMs and all this being sent. So the competition has definitely increased, but the competition isn't necessarily hard. It's lots of people who have no clue what they're doing. So the question that she's asking isn't, can this guy actually help me? It's, is this worth the risk? They're now thinking about it as a potential risk, not just a potential upside. So if you don't answer that question before the DM is even opened, you are going to lose. So why is sending DMs not enough? So we're going to break down why cold outreach has stopped working. So most agencies still do this. They say, hey, I love your page. We help models grow. Let's hop on a call. The most generic DM ever. I see so many people sending these sort of DMs. And that just results in an instant delete from the model. And it's not because OFM is dead. but because truth is missing. Cold DMs only work when trust exists. And beginners just don't have that trust yet. So instead of trying to persuade harder, you change the game. Okay? Trust is one of the most important things that you have when it comes to closing people. I see lots of people preaching like sales strategies, sales techniques, but the whole process is actually very, very simple. It's literally just a question of saying, look, here's where you're at, here's where you want to go, here's how I'm going to help you go from where you are to where you want to go, here's my solution, do you trust me? Yes, cool, let's do this. If they don't trust you, then no, they're not going to do this, okay? If I'm making a promise and then you 100% believe that I can fulfill on my promise, then you are always going to go ahead and say yes to it. If I'm offering you, if I'm offering you 10 grand here, you got to do X, Y, and Z, and you fully believe that I can actually help you do that, then what's that worth to you? Would you pay 10 grand? Would you pay 5 grand for 10 grand to be made? Yes, this is the only real thing there, okay? It's all about the trust. So what's the solution to this? The solution is we don't rely on persuasion. We rely on model attraction assets. So a model attraction asset are leverage sales assets that do the selling before you even go ahead and speak to a model. So instead of chasing models, models self-qualify into conversations. This is the only way beginners should be signing their first model in 2026, because without this, you're just going to have to send endless DMs, spend thousands on ads in order to actually go ahead and sign your first decent model. Okay, so volume always goes ahead and negates luck. So if you want to get an outcome, you can always go ahead and do that volume, but it's about being more intelligent with doing that volume, okay? And making sure that you're doing it in a way that you can guarantee that you go ahead and sign these high ticket OnlyFans models without having to do all of that volume and with just having to do a small portion of that. So why most signing methods fail today? So before I show you why the model attraction assets work, you need to actually understand why the most common OFM signing methods are failing. So the most common methods that are being preached and taught are actually failing. Because this matters because most beginners waste months running tactics that are structurally broken. So method one is high volume cold DMs. So this is the most common approach, sending 50 to 200 DMs a day, different scripts, endless follow-ups. And why this method fails is because models are already flooded with identical messages. I manage these models. I work with these models. I have access to their inbox. I see the DMs. We get so many DMs from these different agencies, and I can see DMs from other people within the space who are trying to go ahead and poach or contact my model. And obviously I can go through and see these DMs, and these models, they receive lots of DMs from OnlyFans agencies. And all the time, these DMs are shockingly bad. I almost just want to go ahead and message them back from the model saying, hey, let me go ahead and help you out with this DM. You need some help and structure this, because they're sending these terrible DMs that are just going ahead, just identical. So many people just copy and pasting messages from different sort of communities. You already look replaceable before the conversation starts. You have your response rates that drop below 2 to 3% because the messages are just so basic, bland, and vanilla. And you burn accounts with and your own confidence with it. With each DM that you send and you don't get a response back, that is the confidence going down the drain. So it's so much better to actually go ahead and just send a few DMs, sign a high ticket OnlyFans model, and then you've all got that confidence there that you know that you can go out there and sign clients who are going to be making you consistent 5 figures a month. So cold DMs only really work when trust already exists, and beginners just don't have that leverage. Okay, a cold DM works if you know the person sending the cold DM, and you can actually there's already that trust built around it. Think of this in terms like dating. Okay, if I'm speaking to specifically the guys out here, maybe I'm speaking to you girls, but it's more applicable to the guys. If you're within the dating scene and you're going ahead looking to get a date, if you go ahead and just send a DM from an Instagram account, you go ahead and send, 100 DMs to 100 different girls within your city, and you just send a pretty bland, boring, like, pickup line. You go ahead and send it to them. They don't actually know who you are. They've never met you before in real life. Then your conversion rates are going to just be terribly low. You might get a 1% conversion rate. And again, that will depend on how well your profile is structured. If you have the social proof, or if you have a few followers, you have a few good pics, you're good looking, etc., then your conversion rate increases. And it's literally the exact same thing here. And what you'll notice is that if you know some girls in real life, and then you go ahead and send them a DM, you're far more likely to go ahead and get a response and get some interest, rather than sending a DM to a girl who you don't really know. And that's the difference between a cold lead and a warm lead. And the exact same applies to going ahead and DMing OnlyFans models. You need a way to go ahead and install that trust, because the only thing that makes the girl who has met you in real life actually respond to you, and you get high conversion rates doing that, is from that trust being there. They trust, they know you're a real person. And so yeah, we want to apply that exact same thing to cold DMs. So now we have method 2, which is the script heavy sales DM. So this is the copywriting will save me strategy. So long messages, pain point stacking, soft closes, and it fails every time. And it fails because the models go ahead and skim. The models don't actually read the messages. If you think a model is sitting there reading through these paragraph messages when their inbox is flooded daily, then you need to get smarter. That's not a reality. They're not going to go ahead and read these messages. Anything that feels rehearsed, feels unsafe, anything to just go ahead and try and get some attention within the account using these weird strategies. Scripts can't replace credibility. Changing a particular word that's being used within a DM isn't going to go ahead and magically save your outreach and magically make it so models are desperate to work with you. If you just change one word, that's never going to happen. The thing is, you need to have a fundamental shift in the underlying strategy. You can't just be going ahead and tweaking a message thinking, oh, is my copy bad? Is my DM bad? No, it's an actual underlying strategy you need to go ahead and fix. So method number 3 is paying for model marketplaces. Lots of people go ahead and say to me, Ethan, should I go ahead and buy a model from a marketplace? I've seen a marketplace, I can spend $500 and I can buy a model contract, and then I've got an OnlyFans model account. I can go ahead and scale her up. Boom, I'm going to be rich. It doesn't work that way. It sounds very attractive because you get to just skip outreach, skip persuasion, skip building a system, skip building a skill. You could just go ahead and throw money at the problem. But it always fails for beginners because there's a high upfront cost. You're spending a lot of money when you don't need to be spending that money. Models come pre-sold and overpromised. So the majority of the models who you see with the contracts being sold, they have gotten the contract from being oversold by someone saying, look, I'm going to go ahead and scale you up to doing $500,000 a month within 30 days. And they got that expectation there, and they then go ahead and get the contract, and then they go ahead and sell it to other people. You also need to question why these models' contracts are being sold in the first place. If they were actually valuable contracts, then the person wouldn't be selling them. If they had an asset there that they could go ahead and make money from easily, then they would be doing it themselves. So why the hell are they going ahead and selling the contract in the first place? There's zero relationship equity there as well. And there's also high churn if the results aren't instant. And there's also quite a few marketplace scams out there. There's really creative scams out there. So you need to be very wary of paying for models from a marketplace. And that's why I don't recommend it at all. You can go ahead and install a talent pipeline that we use at my agency. If you're a consulting member, you can go ahead and install the system that we use to sign models. And you can sign models for very cheap, without needing to send lots and lots of DMs. And I'm going to be breaking the strategy we use down a little bit later. And you can go ahead and you've got a system that compounds itself. So you're always going to be able to be self-sustaining without needing to go out there and buy model contracts. Method number 4 is running ads too early. Now, I think ads can be good. We talk about this a little bit in depth in my program when it comes to running ads to go ahead and sign OnlyFans models. It can be a good added layer, so you can run, testimonial ads. You can go ahead and run story ads, and you can do this to retargeting people. You can also do it through go into cold traffic and then running a retargeting funnel, and then also mixing it in with sending a few targeted specific DMs, and then using model attraction assets, as I'm going to be showing you in a second. So it can be effective, but if you jump straight into paying for ads and traffic, it fails the majority of the time, because ads just go ahead and they amplify any weak positioning. If you've got a bad offer, bad positioning, bad branding, and you go ahead and run ads to it, you're just going to be going ahead and amplifying that. You're not actually fixing the issue. If you have no proof, it means you're going to be getting low quality leads, and you pay to learn basics you already should know. Okay, you're just paying to learn that you've got issues. If you can't send a DM and sign an OnlyFans model, and you happen to resort to running ads, then you already know that you've got an issue within your messaging and targeting, and it's just going to go ahead and amplify it. So you find that most people who go ahead and run ads, they either spend a ridiculous amount running these ads, and they just have to go ahead and say, accept, okay, it's going to be a £500 cost per acquisition for our model. Or they just go ahead and they figure out, they spend a bit of money and they realize, hang on, this isn't working. I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to go ahead and look at the underlying strategy. They then fix that, and then they start running ads. So it just goes ahead and amplifies any problems that you've got. Okay. So yeah, traffic never fixes a broken offer. It just makes it expensive. So here's the pattern. And every failing method has the same flaw. They try to force trust after contact. In 2026, trust must exist before the DM, okay? And that's why we don't start with outreach, we start with assets. So what are model attraction assets? We're finally getting to the meat of this video, the value packed info here. So model attraction assets are pre-built assets designed to create trust, clarity, and authority. So before the DM turns into a call, okay? So examples of this are a plug-and-play OnlyFans audit, a short case study breakdown, what we'd fix in 7 days document, proof clips from real models, clear revenue split, and onboarding flow, okay? So these assets completely change the dynamic. You are no longer asking for attention. You're offering value and structure. So it's a completely different board game. Rather than going out there saying, hey, can I work with you? Hey, I want you to work with me. Hey, let's hop on a call together. Instead of just going and asking and just being a beggar within the DMs, you're actually going out there and saying, hey, look, I've got this, we've got this OnlyFans audit for you that we've done custom. Can I go ahead and send it over to you? Or hey, here's a case study breakdown of a model who's in the exact same situation as yours, and we scaled her from doing X amount to Y amount, and here's the results, and here's how we did it. And you go ahead and send it over to her. It's a completely different pitch. No longer are you going ahead and needing to send thousands of DMs. You just need to send a few select DMs in order to start getting these calls come through, okay? So here's some examples of model attraction assets. So at the top is an OnlyFans audit. So it's an 86-point OnlyFans audit. You go ahead and fill it out for each model. So when a model says, yes, I want an audit, you go ahead, fill this out, send it over to them. They get some value from it. It builds that trust that I was talking about that is essential before you hop on a call with a model. You're offering value up front, so there's literally a micro commitment from them just saying yes to go ahead and get that audit. They accept it, and they then go ahead and get value from it. That in turn builds trust, and they then go ahead and you close them, okay? Nice and simple. Another example of this is a case study, okay? So sending over a templated case study, sending it over to them saying, hey, look, here's a creator, here's where we took them from, here's where they got to, and we did X, Y, and Z. Boom, send that over to them. They're going to get some value from that. It's then going to build trust because they've seen that you've done it for another OnlyFans model. Also, there is some authority there that's been built, and then also knowledge, okay? So those are the three main things that you want to build: trust, authority, and knowledge. So here's the exact signing flow. So step 1, pre-frame your profile. So your personal or agency profile, whichever one you're choosing, I don't think it really matters. I've seen people perform well with a personal profile. I've seen people perform well with an agency profile, but it just needs to answer these three things, okay? It's what you do, who you work with, and what results look like. No mystery, no flexing, just straight up credibility. If your profile can't do this in 5 seconds, nothing else matters, okay? If they click on your profile and they don't really understand what you do, they don't understand that you're an OnlyFans management agency, they don't understand that you work with OnlyFans models or even a particular segment of OnlyFans models that you specialize in, and they don't understand what the results look like that you've helped other models achieve, then they're not going to be interested in you, okay? It needs to be nice, clean, simplistic branding they can click on and they can understand those key things. Step 2, light outreach, not a pitch, okay? So your DM is not a pitch, it's permission based, okay? So a simple example of this is quick question: would you want a free audit showing you what's currently limiting your OF growth? That's it. No pressure, no selling. If she says no, you go ahead and move on, okay? So notice that we're mentioning free, okay? So we're saying, look, it's absolutely free. They're not thinking, oh, I've got to pay for this audit or anything like that. They know it's free. We're going ahead saying, look, we'll just go ahead and send it over to you quickly in a DM. Just asking for permission to actually go ahead and send this over. Once they say yes, we can then go ahead and send it over. You don't want to be building an audit for each model before they've even said yes, because if lots of models don't go ahead and see your DM, then that's just wasted time and energy. You want to make sure you're conserving it to people who have actually read your message and seen your message. Some models just have lots and lots of DMs within their inbox. They just don't get around to seeing your particular message. And it's offering value. Instead of asking for value back, it's going ahead and offering value out there. Now, the majority of the time, 9 times out of 10, when a model reads this, they say yes. We get extremely high conversion rates for when a model actually goes ahead and receives the message and actually reads the message, okay? Once they read the message, extremely high conversion rates. It's just saying, yes, here's an agency, looks like they know what they're doing. They're offering to go ahead and send me a personalized audit or a personalized case study. Yeah, sure, send it over, and then go ahead and have a quick look through it, see what sort of stuff they could be doing to make more money. That's what they want to do. They just want to look at more ways to make more money. No pressure, no selling. And if she says no, you move on. So step 3, deliver the audit. This is where most people fail, okay? Your audit must be specific, honest, and actionable. You point out what's broken, where money is being left on the table, and what would happen if it is fixed. And you do not sell it. Your core focus is to build trust. I've spoken to a few people about this before who have been looking to implement this particular strategy. And when they build a model attraction asset, they are building like this sales PDF saying, here's my agency, here's what we do, here's how we help you, etc. And it's literally just like some sort of like flyer that you'd see hanging within a within a street for a particular laundry service or something. It's not very well thought out. You want to make sure that this model attraction asset attracts. And how do you attract? By delivering value and building trust. Value builds trust, as simple as that. And the whole purpose of the model attraction asset is to build that trust, okay? So you don't want to go ahead and sell. As soon as you sell, you're losing trust, okay? So there's an easy way to visualize this, all right? So this bar represents value, and this bar represents trust, okay? So as value goes ahead and builds up, you're building the equity and trust, and as a result, you're going to be able to go ahead and get a sale, okay? So as you increase value, trust also starts going up from that value. And if you try and withdraw that too early and you haven't built enough value, then that's actually going to go ahead and lower the trust, okay? The way that you go ahead and keep that trust is by building so much value. Okay, you need to build lots and lots of value within the model. So you need to build something that actually generally helps her out. Something that if she implements, something that if she goes ahead and utilizes, and it doesn't take much time, energy, and effort to go ahead and implement it, and she starts making extra money from doing that thing that you recommended, then you will have trust there, okay? So you need to build a model attraction asset that actually goes ahead and helps the model make more money with doing very little work, okay? Because obviously you could go ahead and explain, look, here's my full out Twitter strategy. And most times just not going to go ahead and implement it. So it's just picking one particular problem that your ideal customer has, solving that problem by building a packaged asset, and then going ahead and sending those packaged assets out that actually solve that and fix that problem. And that's going to build trust, as it's going to make models more money, and they're going to want to go ahead and work with you, okay? So nice and simple. Within the program, we also provide, pre-packaged model attraction assets that deliver this trust, build authority, deliver knowledge, and also allow models to go ahead and make money instantly. And no, it's not these ones. We've obviously upgraded them. These are kind of old model attraction assets that I was using at my ANC when I was running it 4 or 5 years ago. Step 4 is to then go ahead and let her ask, okay? So after a real audit, most models go ahead and say one thing. So how would you help me with this? Now the sale is earned, okay? Once they've gone ahead and asked for help, assistance, they've come back to you saying, wow, I've implemented your thing. I made an extra few $100s from doing that. Or wow, I implemented your thing. Conversion rate has gone up X percentage. Once they've done that, they're then primed for the sale, okay? Up until that point, if you have not delivered that value, you have no right to go ahead and ask them for a sale, okay? Because there's no reason for them to trust you, okay? And if you think you're going to trust them by using your words, then you're foolish. So you explain at that point the system, the split, the onboarding process. There's no convincing required. If you've gone ahead and you've watched my YouTube videos of me taking sales calls within two OnlyFans models, on my YouTube channel, then you would see that my sales strategy is very, just laid back, because at that point we've already gone ahead and delivered them value. So we're kind of in the driving seat. They want to go ahead and work with us. So I no longer have to go ahead and do these really rigorous sales process. I no longer have to send thousands and thousands of DMs. I no longer have to do all of that, because all of that has been, all of that effort has been leveraged by building this model attraction asset, and it just keeps consistently applying leverage into my model recruitment operation. So why this works for beginners? It works for beginners because you don't need a big personal brand to do this. You don't need to spend lots of money on paid ads. You don't need to be sending and starting hundreds of conversations. You need one clean audit template or one clean model attraction asset. You need one proof asset, and you need one repeatable flow. That's it. 3 good models beats 50 bad ones every time. And being able to go ahead and sign models without needing to send that many DMs is truly a luxury that I want all of you to go ahead and actually experience. So here's the takeaway. OFM in 2026 isn't about who sends the most DMs. It's about who feels the safest to work with. More and more agencies are joining this space, and more of them are very risky for creators to be working with. Some agencies are just straight up scams. So some models have been burnt in the past. Some agencies deliver bad results, and they don't have any idea what they're doing because they're brand new. They just tank accounts, despite having good intentions in actually growing the account. And some agencies will just go ahead and get model accounts banned because they don't understand OnlyFans' term of service. They don't understand how to properly structure everything. So these are real risks out here for OnlyFans models. So they want to make sure they're working with someone who feels safe. Okay. So if you want the exact model attraction assets we use, the audits, the case studies, the onboarding flows, then they exist inside OFM OS, my custom one-to-one mentorship program, which you can go ahead and access via the link down below if you're interested. So as always, if you're serious, you know what to do with that link down below. Book in a call, and you can hop on a call with myself, And yeah, I hope you got some value from this video. Start implementing this knowledge, and I wish you a good new year if you're watching this at the start of 2026 when I'm releasing this video. So take care, and see you and speak to you guys soon.